1974 AD, 5868 AM. China launches a new cultural revolution, abandoning the ancient dictates of Confucius. The Chinese end 2 years of excavations at the ruins of Changsha, capital of the Hunan province, of 3 tombs that date back to the Han Dynasty, 207–221 AD. One of the tombs yielded forth an entire ancient library of texts dating back from 168 BC, written upon silk, known as the Chinese silk texts. In the Marabdai Silk Almanac are astronomical reports going back 1,000 years from 300 BC and to as remote as 1500 BC. The Sears Tower in the United States is finished in Chicago, becoming the new tallest building in the world, and would remain the tallest until 1996, 22 years, when Cesar Pelli's Petronas Towers were erected in Kuala Lumpur. The Sears Tower at 1451 feet high was 108 stories, 1728 feet in height, 864 plus 864, adding its antenna array. President Nixon resigns after Watergate implications and refusal to disclose the tapes. Gerald Ford becomes the US president. US space probe Mariner 10 is sent to Venus and takes photographs from only 26,000 miles away, sending them back to Earth. 1973 and 1974 were the years of the greatest UFO sightings in recorded history around the world. In this year, Otto O. Binder wrote, quote, "It is an established fact that more than 100,000 people utterly vanish from Earth each year. No trace is ever found by missing persons bureaus, nor by the best detective hunts. Many ufologists surmise that these people are abducted and whisked away from Earth alive." Unquote. Binder mentions that his statistics account for those secretly murdered, kidnapped for various reasons, runaways, and those having died in secluded areas and never found. At Langley, VA, in the CIA headquarters, high officials disclosed to retired US Air Force Colonel Dr. Walter Brown that they were conducting a study of Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. A US Air Force F-4 with sophisticated photographic equipment was sent to take pictures of what the pilot was told was a Russian defense installation on Mount Ararat. Passing within 1,000 feet of the dark structure in the ice, the pictures were taken and film turned over into top-secret files. Years later, the actual photographer said, quote, "I saw it with my own eyes. It was a dark black foreign object about 2/3 the way up the mountain near a gorge. It was oblong and partially buried in ice, overhanging a cliff. To me, it certainly looked like a boat-like object, definitely man-made. It was totally out of place," unquote. The Great Flood that Noah survived in 2239 BC, CHRONICON 1, was the last major cataclysmic depopulation of the world, though there have been other disasters, even on a worldwide scale. None have been like the Great Flood, nor like the Phoenix cataclysm that will occur in 2040 AD. Exactly 66 years, 792 months after 1974. Interestingly, the Armageddon catastrophe and war in 2106 AD is 132 years after 1974, or 66 plus 66 years. Lastly, 1974 AD is exactly 4212 years after the Great Flood, or 2106 plus 2106 years. 1. 20th century events. 2. End of Eden. 4. Mankind, child of the stars. 6. The incredible discovery of Noah's Ark. 1975 AD, 5869 AM. In this year, Beirut, Lebanon, was a modern port city and centre of commerce and banking. In this year, the Christian Phalangists and the Muslims erupted in civil war, killing 42,000 people as the Israelis aided the Christians and the Palestinians and other Islamicists aided the Muslims of Lebanon. The day after the last American helicopter departed from South Vietnam, the South Vietnamese surrender to the Viet Cong in Saigon is renamed Ho Chi Minh City. Over 50,000 US troops died in this senseless war, which was actually a silent war against China and their Russian communist allies, the centre of conflict masked by taking place in Vietnam. The tomb of the Chinese Emperor Shi Huangdi was excavated, and discovered inside was the world-famous Chinese terracotta army, over 6,000 life-sized and lifelike Chinese warrior statues. Dr. Bartholomew Nagy published his controversial research on the existence of microbiological fossils on and within meteorites from Mars. Comet West appeared, and as it was viewed, the comet fragmented, splitting into 4 nuclei in March. The ancient Canaanite Eblet tablet texts were unearthed, 15,000 tablet records of events over 3,000 years ago, providing historians with a wealth of knowledge on the ancient Near East, these records mentioning biblical places like Sodom and Gomorrah. In the USA, audiences enjoyed being terrified by Spielberg's blockbuster movie Jaws. 1. The World's All Wrong. 2. 20th Century Events. 4. Far Out Adventures.